Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. At AM 630. WMAL.
8:07. It's Brian Wilson back from vacation. He's Brian Neiman. He's been here all along. And on the phone is our good friend, Tucker CARLSON, who is the editor, of course, of the Daily Caller, and an all-round good guy. How are you, Tucker?
Good morning, gentlemen.
All right.
Back, Brian.
No, thank you very much. I want to get right to this Secret Service thing. A bunch of Secret Service agents have been recalled from Cartagena. A couple of military guys apparently were told to stay in their rooms because they missed curfew. May sort of be connected to all of it. At the end of the day, what do you think about this scandal?
Well, I mean, I think there's a huge scandal that surrounds the Secret Service that no one ever mentions, which is they bully civilians and block intersections so that low-level cabinet secretaries can get to lunch on time. So there's a lot of abuses of power going on. Do I think American national security is threatened by the fact they got hookers at a hotel? No, of course not. I think it's a shame when it's almost like Elliot Spitzer, got bounced out of office not for abusing the power of his office, which he did every single day, and he used the power of the state to crush his political enemies, but because he got a hooker at the Mayflower Hotel. I mean, I hope this shines light on the real problems with the Secret Service, but I doubt it will.
Some people are saying that they believe this has been an ongoing thing, but you don't think it's a security breach at all? I could see how conceivably you could be compromised if you held information and somebody said, well, I'm going to tell the missus if you don't share this important data with me.
I guess. I mean, from what we know so far, these were $47 hookers. So, maybe there's a foreign intelligence network comprised of $47 hookers, but I somehow kind of doubt it.
It's possible. Seriously, it is possible. I mean, you would think that if you really wanted to get involved and you want to get there, we've had spies all the time. That's what they do. I mean,
you're absolutely right, and they shouldn't have been doing this, and it does seem foolish to do it in a foreign country, and certainly indiscreet and lacking self-control, and not to mention immoral for the guys who are married. So I'm not defending it in any way. I merely think there's a much larger scandal right in front of our faces, especially those of us who live in Washington, who, watch these fellow Americans boss people around with no real right to do that. So, no, I mean, I think that they routinely abuse their power. I think it's a huge deal. I think we need congressional hearings into overreach by the Secret Service, but maybe this will start.
You're talking more with a lower level or the cabinet level positions than you are with the president, though, right? When it comes to Secret Service.
No, yeah, but I mean, look, the Secret Service are used as servants, and anyone who lives here, and I know a number of people who have secret. I mean, I'm not like this is not something I'm making up. Yeah. Anybody who lives in D.C. and knows people who have Secret Service,
sure.
Like a lot of the individual guys are great. I know a lot of them. I'm not attacking individual Secret Service agents, especially the plainclothes guys who are, I think, really superior to the uniform guys, obviously. But I'm merely saying that they are used by politicians as servants, and that's not right. It's not right to use a taxpayer-funded bodyguard to, make it possible for you to get to lunch on time. Like, that's not fair, and that offends anybody with a small d democratic sensibility, or it should.
Herman Cain was on our show a minute ago. He once endorsed Newt Gingrich after he got out, and now says Newt needs to get out of the way and come to terms with the fact that it ain't going to be him. What do you think about the state of play with Newt? It doesn't seem like it really matters all that much, but it is sort of bothersome to have a guy who's still technically in the race, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the real question is Herman Cain completely and utterly insane? Yeah. I just saw Herman Cain's new video. I doubtless you guys have seen it.
I haven't seen it, no.
Chickens peck the guy to death. Get to YouTube if you haven't seen this. I love Herman Cain, and I love him even more now than I ever have. But you've got to watch this video because that man is like taking eccentricity to
what is it? It's chickens pecking somebody to death?
Yeah, it's a video of chickens pecking a farmer to death, and it's a metaphor for the U.S. government spending taxpayers' money. But you have to see it. I mean, it's Alfred Hitchcock-esque. It's totally demented. So I love Herman Cain. I wish he'd stayed in the race. I think that would have been really interesting. But no, he's right. I don't think Newt's presence hurts anyone, though. I don't think Newt is, other than himself, really. I mean, I don't think it's bad to have another guy in the race, or Ron Paul's still in, too. I don't think it hurts anyone.
999. He's still running on that. I'm not quite so sure. At first 999 got me excited, and then if you actually do the math, which is a popular phrase in DC these days, I'm not sure 999 works for everybody. I think there's a lot of people may be paying more in taxes with 999.
Well, look, the truth is half the country doesn't pay taxes.
Yeah, well, I'm on the half that does pay taxes.
Like, everybody should pay something, right? I mean, I'm sorry. I know no one wants to say that. I'm not running for anything, so I can, but I think just as a moral matter, we're all in this together. Everyone, right? I mean, everyone should.
That's fine, but you have. I mean, it's the. I mean, I guess the devil's in the details as always. I mean, I don't know where the 9% of the income tax. I mean, if you're right now paying a marginal rate of 12% and you're going down to 9%, well, it's really not that much of a difference. And then on top of that, you'd have to pay a 9% national sales tax. I mean, that's a significant amount of money. There's no getting around that.
Right. I mean, there's no doubt that some people would see their taxes go up, but the truth is, you can't have a system where an ever-shrinking percentage of people pay for an ever-growing percentage of the budget because it's a lopsided system. And if rich people leave in a system, look at what's happening in California. You wondering why California is completely insolvent? It's because rich people, the top 1% pays for over 50% of all taxes in California. And guess what? They're not into it, so they leave. So they go to Jackson Hole and Phoenix, and as they leave California, and they are leaving, there's nobody to pay for the state. And so you can't have a system. It's not sustainable to have a system where a tiny percentage of the population pays for everything at all.
I see that there's an article here on Red Alert Politics that lists you as a conservative media mogul. I've always wanted to be a mogul. What does it feel like to be a mogul? But it recounts how you went recently to speak to young people at the Cato Institute, my friends over at Cato, and we're supposed to talk to the aspiring journalist, much like Roger Ailes did the other day, about what it is to be a journalist and how you go about it. You had some interesting things to say to them.
Well, my only point was it's really important to figure out what you're good at. And like most people, I wasted a ton of time in my life doing things I wasn't very good at, and I wish I hadn't. And I was lied to as a child and told I could be whatever I wanted to be, and that's not true. You can take the gifts that God gave you or you're born with, wherever you think you got them, and you can make them into what you can make them. But a lot of the things I pursued in life, I just wasn't suited for. I wasn't good at them naturally.
And you wish you had not gone to college?
College wasn't a good thing for me. There are a lot of people who probably should go right from high school into work, into some sort of apprenticeship, and I really wish I had. I became a journalist. It's not a very complicated job. You don't need years of training at all. It's a very simple job. Find out what happened and tell your readers or viewers. I mean, be honest. And there are tricks of the trade, but it is a trade. It's not a profession. And, I read a lot, always have. I feel like I got good direction on that as a child, and I'm fairly decently self-educated. I wish I had taken those 4 years and not gotten drunk every day and instead worked in a newspaper or something. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's no truth to that, but sometimes it's not easy to figure out what you're good at and what you're bad at. And
it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
So it takes
and college doesn't help. Looming around with no direction, and at least I'm speaking for myself, but, no supervision, drinking all the time. It's all about recreation. That did not help me figure out what I was good at all.
That's what I did. I went to work right out of high school, right into broadcasting, and I got a journalism degree later.
The nation is a one